We are a peaceful people. Struggle is we struggle, and we don't look for trouble. Just ask around. But when outside faces from foreign places talk about taking over, we ain't backing down. We ain't giving up no mountains, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one karage, not a blade of grass. This land is all I know. We gonna make it somehow. We will bend like a bow and never break. Our fathers came here, and they lived and died here, and we ain't moving nowhere. Big mistake. Cause we ain't giving up no mountain, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one grass, not a blade of grass. We love the open country of the Rupununi and the S3E7, daytime or night. Though we may criticize it, this is our home, we love it, and we need to keep it. We have that right. So we ain't giving up no mountain, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one grass, not a blade of grass. So we ain't giving up no mountains, we ain't giving up no.
Welcome to our international podcast, Below the Belt. Who vex lose, who vex. Let us know you're receiving us loud and clear, folks. Let us know Candida Lean in the Jeep, Marky Mark, and all the other folks. Let us know you're receiving us loud and clear. Edward Gonzalez of the Bronx, Debbie Hohenkork, Janice Booker, Ayambo, Natasha Congreaves. Let us know you're receiving us loud and clear. We ain't giving up no country. We ain't giving up no rivers. Nothing. I getting some thumbs up. That means loud and clear. Yep. Thumbs up all around. All the technicians on duty. Vernet Benjamin, technician. Welcome, folks. Hazel Wendy Griffith, Marlon Kamini Van Veen, and all the other guys joining us today. Simone Williams, Natasha Barker, Emily Durant. Emily, how you doing now? You recover yet from Tuesday? Good to have you, Emily. Good to have you, Emily. Paul Cush is here as well, folks. Paula Matthias. Mathis. Yep. Yola is. Maris. Patricia Asana. Patricia, I got your message. I was going to message you after the broadcast. I got your message. Thank you. Pay some power, Patricia. Pay some power. Thank you, Thank you. Patricia's a girl with your things. Y'all don't come with story. Don't come wrong with funny. No one is you talking with neither. Yep. Thank you, Patricia. If you want, we say thank you. Send things to her. Folks, thank you for your overwhelming support. We feel the love. We feel your prayers. We feel the hate a little bit, but the prayers and the love more. Good to have you, folks. Pat and all the other folks, Mark Julian, Candida Lean Indigits, Jackie Smith, Carl Fordyce, Glenford Gordon is here. Good to have you. Getting a big thumbs up from Patricia. Elaine Smith, Patricia Graves, Andy Goodman, all the Patricias outside. All them outside. I met a Patricia that wasn't problems. That wasn't trouble. Good trouble, but trouble nonetheless. Guys, good to have you, Maxine Schell, and all the other folks. Somebody please tell Agri Marsh I'm on air. I see Agri trying to call me. Some people got no manners, you know. Lunchtime they're trying to interrupt your food, interrupt your meal. Folks, how is the weather where you folks are? It should be about 30 degrees locally. We're gonna confirm. Share the live wherever you're joining us from. Hazelin King, Emily Durant, Rhonda Lane. Rhonda's here, and we're so privileged. Rhonda's in the house. Once Rhonda shows up, you know everything is gonna be okay. You know everything is gonna be okay. Do our thing. Rhonda's here. Don't worry about anything else. Folks, good to have you. A number of things we want to discuss with you folks today. A number of things that we're trying to get the accurate weather for you. We know how much of you depend on us for the weather. It's 28 degrees outside where we are, folks. The national capital city of Georgia, where we're broadcasting from live. It's 28 degrees outside. They're telling us there's a 13% chance. There's a 13% chance it's going to rain. A 13% chance. So, guys, you know, prepare just in case. It is better to prepare and fail than fail to prepare. Prepare. 28 degrees outside, weather.com says it feels like 32. It's like 34 to me, but nonetheless, 28 degrees according to weather.com. And we're so happy, so privileged. Each and every one of you are here. I had a piece of pizza. Yep, I'm going to say a piece to make it sound right. I had a whole one. A small one, a small. Only personal. Folks, where are you joining us from? That is the precursor to lunch. A little piece of pizza, you know, to open the appetite. You know, get them warm something before they take you. Folks, if you're looking for a place for lunch, I recommend to you folks the Palette. If you're looking for, well, this is brunch because they start from about 2 and they go way into the evenings, selling some delicious food. It's one of the only place I think you can get like real professional chef quality food at a very retail cost. Very, 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 very low cost, but they cook very well. The Palette, it's located in Munreport, just off the highway. There's a yellow caravan, I think it is. A yellow caravan there. You can call them and find out what's for lunch. I think it's 649-5052. 649-5052. Ask him Miss Pandy. 649-5052. Ask him Miss Pandy. Tell him I send you. That can be bad or good. Let me see. Go for yourself. But wonderful food, folks. You know, on my way home last evening, and I went home around 10 last night. They were still out there selling some delicious pork. Folks, I think it's like a roast pork or something like that. The meat falling off of the rib. I like my meat like that. Beautiful food. So I want to recommend them for you if you're hungry. 646-5052. When I find something nice, I like share it. 649-5052. You all see the God of Fancy supermarket opening next week in where Nigel's used to be. I think it's Andrew's supermarket. I think we're gonna bring some more information on that. We might even take a sneak peek if they allow us to see what's gonna be happening there. But those guys are opening back there. Andrew's supermarket, where it used to be Nigel's, and they're going bigger and better. Bigger and better. We might even take a walk down that side on when they open up. I think it's next week, sometime next week, and we're gonna be bringing some more information on that. Folks, we looked at healthcare in the regions, and we sat down recently. We spoke to some folks there. Oh Lord, folks, you can't afford to dead in this country. You can't afford to get sick much more. You can't afford cost of living, things tight. And some people had the misfortune of being on the brunt of it. You know? The brunt of it. You know, they have to endure the brunt of it. Things tight in this country, folks. Things are rough. Things are rough. I want you all to know that. Things are rough. Right? You got to schedule your sugar intake. The sugar done. The sugar down in this government. The sugar down. They promise they can bring back guys who could be there. They got part-time jobs. You want people for 2 and 3 months. People gonna exist like that. Of course, the greater for the Little Ravelins, Nicola Daniels, greater for the Little Ravelins, Aislinn King. I know you can hold people for 2 and 3 months. If you hold people, you gotta pay them. Right? Aislinn King is telling us it's slightly overcast in Washington. It's slightly overcast. In Linden, rather. Hear my own story. Slightly overcast in Linden. We can take what we can get. Good to have you folks nonetheless. Good to have you folks. And all the folks joining us from around the world. Pace and power, guys. Pace and power. So we sat down yesterday to talk with some folks. Some health concerns, guys. Talk with them about some health concerns. One of the persons I talked with quite recently, Region 5 there is, one of the persons I spoke with is Shallon Archibald. Folks, Shallon's story is so sad. No mother should ever have to face this, what this young lady went through. Shallon Archibald, her son's name was Jaden Chifoon. Jaden Chifoon, he was just 7 when he was knocked down on the public road there at Lovely Lass on the West Coast. Bobbies, 7 years old. Folks, my Lord, my Lord. You got to hear this story for yourself. And what they're asking for justice. Justice. They put forward several damning allegations. I just like to state the views expressed by Siobhan Archibald and her father, as well, John Chifoon, are not necessarily our views. They make several damning allegations, folks. Lost her son, Jaden Chifoon, at just 7 years old, knocked down the Lovely Lass public road, and the healthcare system in this country, folks. The healthcare system in this country, it needs work. It needs work. It needs real work. Not play work, you know. It needs real work, folks. The healthcare system in this country. It needs work. It's real sad where things are. Real sad where things are. And so yesterday we had an opportunity. We had an opportunity to talk with this young lady. We wished it was on a better circumstance, you know. Siobhan Archibald, grieving the death of her son. Her father said they were close. Himself and his grandson, Jaden. Siobhan's father, John Chifoon, he said he and his grandson were close. Just asking for justice in this country. Where do you go in this country to get justice? We've asked this question lots of times. There's always silence reverberating towards us as an answer. Where do you go? Pray tell, where do we go? But there are countless of these episodes that are, what would you say, recorded on a daily basis. People just want justice. But where do they go for justice? Huh? Where do they go for justice? Oh, this is a dark time, my love, according to the poet Martin Carter. This is a dark time indeed. This is a dark time indeed. And we're going to be talking with Shallon in just a bit. We spoke recently and we're going to bring that to you. Yep, folks, as you come on, share the live, smash that emoji button, guys, and prepare to partner with us as well. prepare to partner with us as well, good folks. We trust that you guys are great. You're having a great week thus far. Good to have each and every one of you. We're making sure all our T's are crossed, all our I's are dotted at this end. So bear with us for a second, guys. Good to have you, Bantu King and Anne Marie Selby. Good to have all of you folks here with us. Really good to have each and every one of you guys. And bear with us for a second or two, folks. We're going to hold until you guys have shared the live and smash that emoji button for us. But we're prepared to come on in just a sec. Bear with us, lovely folks. Yep. Again, we spoke with Siobhan Archibald and John Shaffoon. Siobhan Archibald is the mother of young Jaden Shaffoon, who lost his life. She's going to tell us all about that. And we also spoke with Jaden's grandfather, John Shaffoon. A very sad time indeed for this family. Very, very sad time indeed for this family. Very, very, very sad time for this family. Miss Archibald, a very good day. We know that your son, Jaden, was hit down in February of this year on West Coast, Babis at Lovely Lass. Tell us a little bit about Jaden, the kind of person he was prior to this accident.
Hi, morning. Okay, well, Jaden was a very loving person. Healthy, strong, didn't have no problem. He always with the church and he excited at everything, at least animals and these things. And he was very loving. Didn't have a problem with it.
And what kind of what did he love doing? The kind of foods he loved. You know, he had friends in the neighborhood. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, well, the food that he loved milk and rice. He said that is his favorite food. He was milk and rice, and well, he like roti because his grandmother just gotta make roti for him. Make sure you get the roti and these things.
And tell us about him as a child in terms of he went outside to play, he had friends in the neighborhood. What did he like doing when he wasn't going to school?
Well, most time he like playing with animals. He like any animals, dog, duck, everything that come around. Once is animal, cow, horse, pig. So.
And tell us a little bit about Jaden as a student. Which school did he go to and what kind of student Jaden was?
Okay, well, he attended Yeovil Nursery School. He didn't have a problem. He was a good student. The teachers are there, they love him. And then he lived there. He go Latchman Singh Primary. I never had a problem with him there. The teachers there love him too. And he was okay.
And on the fateful morning when Jaden was hit down at Lovely Lass, we learned that he was going from the shop in the neighborhood there to home. Right? Tell us about that morning.
Okay, well, I wasn't there, but his grandmother told me that, well, he just came from me and Ross and go home. And he asked to go in the shop. So she sent him because he normally go to school by home crossing the road. So she tell him be careful and let go. And she said she was inside and she heard blam, and she come out and she saw him on the road, people running. The car that hit him wasn't, she said it was still by the fire station. And some other people that was passing, a man from Belgium, I think he from, they call the car Red Jet. He was the one that picked up him and take him to the hospital with the help from another person and people from the village and so on. Yeah, so.
Great. Folks, we have Jaden's grandfather here with us, John Chiffon, as well. And I want him to tell us about what he has learned about that morning when Jaden was hit down, or the accident itself, and what perhaps occurred on the roadway that fateful morning. Talk to us, John.
Hello, good morning. I'm John Chiffon from Lovely Lasville, Jesco Suburbies. On that morning, Jaden come from his mother's house, home, from church, asking his grandmother to go to shop. He did went to shop, and while he's coming home, crossing the road, Joseph Ward, the car driver, overtake and hit Jaden and throw him a quite distance. Stop till by the fire station and reverse back on his lane. But if the said morning the police that they come and see the accident, they will see where the radiator burst on the right hand side of the road, and Joseph Ward being going down Georgetown. And he's claiming that he hit Jaden on the left hand side going down. And how could this child, he hit him with his driving side, and how I want to explain how this child would reach on the right hand side till at the parapet, right? But I must say that the police there should do their work more properly, right? Because, and the DPP also, because if a child get hit on the driver's side, the child would pit straight, not across the road. Thank you.
Thanks, John. We're back with his mom, and she's going to tell us what has been the interaction with the police. John, Jaden's grandfather, just told us that the police, had they come that very morning, it might have led to a different outcome in terms of the justice you guys have gotten thus far, which we're going to talk about too. But tell us, what has been your interaction with the police at the Fort Wellington police station?
Okay, well, the day of the accident, I didn't see the police them at the scene, because when I heard that Jaden was knocked down, I reached late and I didn't see no police at the scene. And to the time that I leave to go Georgetown to take Jaden, we go down, we didn't see the police at the scene neither. So I think it was the next day I went back, we went to the station, and the police told me that they would discharge Mr. Ward because it's 72 hours or something like that, or 48 hours. They can't lock him up after certain hours, that they have to discharge him. So I said, okay. That was the third day after Jaden accident, and the police, the officers, they never called me back for 3 months. They never get in contact back with me, like say something going on or whatever. So I went there a day to the officer in charge of traffic, and I asked what's going on, and he told me that they're waiting on DPP to send back the report. So I said, okay. I come out and I go back to the hospital, and I go back on next day. at this. That was before we get discharged from from New Amsterdam. I went back there, and I asked the officer. It have an officer there that wear blue shirt and the black pants, and he have little size he fat up. He told me that I go and I asked him. I said, we actually waiting 2 to 3 months now. And y'all telling me every single day, you have to wait. So I said, well, where really we waiting on? Where really y'all waiting to air? Because every single day you say we waiting and Jaden getting worse. And none of the officers them at Fort Wellington Station, never one day come and see Jaden to see the condition that he was in. Never ever they come. And I asked the officer, what happened with my son's story? We are waiting on. And he told me that. I said, we are waiting to air. If you are waiting to air, if Jaden die or what's going on. He said, yeah, well, if you say we waiting for you dead, we waiting for you dead. And me and he had a little argument and I leave the station. And a day I was home and some of the officers, the two of them come. That was after. And two of them come to see Jaden. Two small police officers. One of them is from my village. His name is Justin. I can't remember the next name. I was talking about my son and he was laughing, like it was a fun. Like they having, like they didn't think nothing. So I said, so Justin told me that he said that they can't do anything because it's what the officers, they write in the statement and send it down to DPP. This is what DPP gonna work with. So I said, Justin, you was there the morning of the accident and is y'all had to write the report. So he said that the officers, the officer in Brown, the traffic police in Brown, and the next traffic police, they're in charge of them. So they had to write it. And it's what they said to write is that they got to write. So I said, if it's pay, the officers, they take pay. So one of the same fat traffic police officer, after Jaden died, come now to tell me that Jaden have to get cut. So we waiting 4 months and change to see them come at the scene or at the hospital or at the home where Jaden living to come and see Jaden for 4 months, and then never one day come, and the day they don't die, this second day or the third day they come. They make no sense because Fort Wellington police station, they don't give you justice, and when you go there and making you complain, they all upon you and tell you don't raise your voice in the station. You can't make your side clear whatever they told you to say. This is what you got to say. Like they're controlling what you got to say.
That's very, very sad to hear those allegations. But you've told us Jaden was hit down in February, on the 13th of February. Again, that fateful day, he was discharged from hospital. He spent about 2 months in hospital. Yeah. You can tell us about all of that. He spent about 2 months in hospital. He was discharged in April, and then he died the following month of May. Tell us about that very horrific period in your family's life.
Well, it's tearing us apart. At least me, to myself, I very angry because
No justice.
I ain't getting no justice. No, the police ain't showing me nothing. The DPP ain't sending back the file that the officers said that they had to wait for now that the child died. And it's really tearing the whole, every part from my side, the father side, everybody. It's just tearing we apart. And it's just...
Yeah. So between Fort Wellington Hospital, I think that would be the first hospital he would have been sent to, being hit down in Lovely Lass, to New Amsterdam and then to Georgetown.
Yeah.
Tell us about that, his medical care, because you did say to us that he was hit down. Was he unconscious when he got to hospital? Did he ever regain consciousness? And then what was required of you when he was discharged as a parent, caring for a patient, 7 years old? Tell us about that.
Well, after he was discharged from Georgetown, they said that we had to learn.
Don't let's talk about the discharge. Let's talk about him as a patient at the hospital. Tell us about that period. What was his medical care like?
Okay,
Was he
well,
conscious? He was unconscious.
no, he wasn't conscious. He was unconscious
For the entire 2
for the
months.
whole time. That's from this day. There was an accident from the 13th of February to the day he died. He was paralyzed. He couldn't move. He couldn't talk. I didn't know if he was seeing. You had to do everything. You had to feed him. You had to clean him. You had to bathe. You had to do every single thing. He couldn't do nothing. Then just laying there all the time doing nothing.
So here is your son. Initially, he's at hospital. He has tubes in his mouth, a tube in his nose. And that's how he's getting the sustenance that he needs to survive. And then the hospital calls you and said, there's nothing more that they can do. They're discharging him. What was required of you as a mother caring for a 7-year-old who is, in your own words, he's paralyzed. You don't know if he's seeing, he's not talking. Or what was that like? Tell us about that.
That was hard because nowadays I didn't know what to do because I didn't know what we feeling and I didn't know how to look after certain things. I didn't know what to do. Like the tracheostomy tube and the tube that you have to feed him with and all these things. That was hard, like caring for him because I had to care for him in the hospital too, not that only home. Because in the hospital at New Amsterdam, it's like I was the doctor with him. I had to care for him, doing every single thing. I give him his medication, every single thing. And that was a thing that used to bother me because every day I had to measure these medication. You have to measure this, you got to measure it, and you got to know the line you can't pass over because it's for the brains and these things. You can't give him overdose. And that was hard because I don't have any medical training, like know what to do. And it went hard for me because enough times I feel like sometimes I do something wrong and the doctors and just give me to bring home and I don't know what to do. And the thing is that the time that they give we to learn to look after Jaden is 1 week. Like give me 1 week to know all these things to come home and look after.
Yeah. And this is 1 week to care for a child who is paralyzed.
Yeah.
According to what you guys have said, he has suffered brain injury as well. So and he has some problems with his lungs too. He's sent home. He's discharged from hospital. So there are no longer tubes. They're no longer they're no longer tube down his nose, one down his mouth. So how are you caring for him? How are you feeding him?
Well, I had to buy a baby bottle and give it to suck. He's try boil everything and blend it up. So they're like thin like water and you feed him with a bottle. He sucks. Sometimes he sucks some. Sometimes he didn't suck some. And it went hard because he didn't get enough because he couldn't able suck too much. And it went real hard. It went real hard on me and plus he because he can't get to eat how he's supposed to. And he couldn't get a drink. He couldn't forget the water properly because it's hard for he because he feeling pain and he couldn't talk. New Amsterdam take out majority of my son's teeth with the things that they used to push in him out to suction him. The teeth just start falling out and
we feel your pain, ma'am. We feel your pain. Let us talk about justice for Jaden. We know he was hit down again on the 13th of February. Was the policeman ever charged? I'm talking now with John, his grandfather. Was he ever charged?
No, this man was never charged, and a pastor who saw the accident because this pastor was coming from town and give them a statement what he saw because the pastor.
What did he say according to the statement?
He said that the child already crossed, and this Joseph Ward come with about 100 and something miles per hour, overtake, and hit this child. The pastor said the child did not wrong. because this car overtake and hit this child. That is the cause of the child death. Thank you.
And in addition to that, John, um, he was never charged. Who decided never to institute charges on the driver, as you've explained it?
Well, they call me and say DPP say the man must not be charged, and this driver, this pastor, we're being coming up from town, say he had was a stop because seeing the speed that this car coming towards he had was a stop, and he see everything that happened, and write a statement to the police. I want to know if the statement reach DPP. Because I see why that man cannot be charged, because he overtake with 100 something miles per hour and hit this child like a dog, and never come back and says tell nobody sorry as much. Thank you.
And so here is this young man, has barely begun to live his life. Jaden Chiffon, he's 7 years old. No charges laid to the driver overtaking his child, who is in the opposite lane at Lovely Lass. And you're caring for him, Siobhan, on your own. He's been discharged from hospital. You had to have a crash course in caring for a child like this, paralyzed, not speaking. You don't know if he can see. He suffered brain injury and all of that. And some damage to his lungs, John is telling us. In this period when he was first discharged from Georgetown Hospital, from New Amsterdam Hospital, you're caring for him home. You've related to us, you had several instances where he's back and forth to the hospital. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, that was real rough because days like when he started feeling sick, and I didn't know exactly what was going on with him. That was real hard. It was real hard, and at the time we didn't. The breathe, he did getting a hard time breathing most of the time. Most of the time, like you had to get things to open like get Vicks or these things to LP, because I didn't know what more to do. So I mostly get the Vicks, the peppermint tile and these things, and try to get it to breathe properly. So that was it. It was really rough because I didn't know why I went up to
and one of those times when he's had complications breathing, he had to be taken back to Fort Wellington Hospital, and that is the time he's not going to come back home. Tell us about that day when he's taken in, and what and how you learned. If you were there at the hospital when he transitioned? Tell us about that day when we lost Jaden Chiffon.
Okay, that morning we woke up and he was to go to clinic at New Amsterdam. And we was taken into the clinic, me and the grandfather and the grandmother. And whilst we coming from my home, I think that he wasn't breathing properly because I have the thing to test your hand, put it on your finger. So I see that it was going down. So I told the grandfather that we gonna make a stop at Fort Wellington to get some oxygen fee, catch back himself, and then we gonna go. And we reached at the hospital, and the nurses, they wasn't there. It was long before they come to give him, and although I was quarreling, the nurses, one of the nurses came to me and said that I didn't see no nurse when I go in, and I just start spreading up the bed because it's a normal going back and forth something, and I accustomed to it. So I start spreading up the bed, and the nurse come to me and said, that is not how you do things, and Oh, I know that the child ain't breathing properly, and I show her the thing on the hand, and she said, okay, she gonna give him some oxygen, and she said I had to come out from the room, and I come out and I go outside and I wait in. But we had to go to clinic because we missed a day before because he was admitted in the hospital the same day that he was to go before. So I had to go New Amsterdam to tell the doctors that we wouldn't make it to the clinic today. So we gonna gotta come the next day. So I leave him there with his grandmother and go to New Amsterdam at the hospital. Come back from the New Amsterdam. I stop at Fort Wellington station. The officer showed me the file that DPP sent back. I leave there. I go back to the hospital. He was on the bed laying, taking the oxygen. I was so confused because the DPP said that there was no charge, and I was hustling to go to town in the morning to see if I could get a fully oxygen tank and go at the DPP to really find out what's going on. And I leave the hospital and go home and bathe because my home is not far from the hospital. It takes about 10 minutes, and I go home and I bathe, put on my clothes and run out back. And my mother-in-law called and said that the doctor wanted to talk to me. And I said, okay, I'll leave and I go back to the hospital. And why is I going in? I didn't see nobody, well, like no commotion, like something happened. But when I go in, I saw my son cover up on the bed, cover up from head to toe, and they said that he died. That was real. It was real because no, he was helpless. He couldn't even say one last word. Like I didn't even know if how he was feeling, or he trying to say head hurting, or he foot hurting, or no way hurting. That was real hard because
So he transitioned at Fort Wellington while receiving oxygen.
yeah.
And what has happened in these months since? Because he died in May. This is August. What has happened? Has the driver ever come forward in any way? Has the police ever followed up? They just say they're not charging the driver, and that is it. Your 7-year-old son is gone.
Yeah, that is exactly what the police think, because they say we have to wait on DPP again. And the driver never, Mr. Joseph Ward, he never one day take a minute out of his time and say, try to find out and call to just say sorry, or even self, you can't say sorry. You see the story on the news, and you couldn't even go to the one in the newsroom to just ask these people, just put up this thing and say, okay, you can't get to the mother or to get to the father close. Just say, okay, put it up on the news and say sorry. If you know that I wouldn't get on properly when you come to me, you could go and put it out somewhere and try to say sorry. At least I would understand, and I have a heart and I have a conscience. I would understand, say, well, okay, you're sorry. He tried his best to make it somehow to tell me that he was sorry. But he never one day make it a thing that he would come to see or try to find out, or nothing to say sorry.
Is the driver? Does he live in Berbice? Is he still in Berbice?
Yes, he is from quarantine. Yeah, on the same public road. He's drive a car every single day. I saw him passing on the road. I see his vehicle every morning going to town. I see him coming back from Georgetown afternoon. Every single day he passed to go to town.
And does he see you? What does he do? What is his interaction?
No, I don't know if he
with the
know
family?
me. I don't know if he know me,
Because he's never come to see you.
No, he never come to see me. I saw him a day in Georgetown, and I take off my mask and I go to him and I ask if he know me, and he was no, he don't know me. And I said, you don't know me? He said, no. I said, you sure you know me? And he said, no. I said, you know the child that you knocked down, mother? And he put on back his mask, and that was it. He didn't say a word to me. I was in the Barbies Park with millions of people passing every single day, and whoever was there could have talked the day. He didn't even say sorry. He didn't even open his mouth and talk. The only thing he said that he didn't know me. That was the only thing I heard come out his mouth. Not another word. He never say sorry. And I was cussing and crying and all these things. He didn't say sorry. You know, some people with a mind and heart could have said, Auntie, I'm sorry, I didn't go for it. It was an accident and this thing. You would understand that it's an accident. Okay, he's sorry, but he could watch me in my face and didn't even say sorry in front of my face. Well, he didn't get a heart because you could see me there and didn't say sorry. There's not it something wrong.
Uh, what is justice for this family? When you say you want justice, young Jaden Shafoon was hit down, just 7 years old. He succumbed eventually to his injuries. What is justice for the family? When you say you want justice, what are you looking for?
Well, I want justice. To me, my justice is to my justice. I want justice just like oh my child was. I want he to feel the same way for me. That is my justice to me. I want it to feel the way how Jaden feel and how I feel. And I want it to lay down in bed and feel exactly be the same way like Jaden.
John Shafoon is still here with us. John, for you, what is justice for your grandson? You said you all are very close. What is justice for your grandson?
Myself and my grandson was very close, and we need justice because we ain't getting justice from nowhere, right? And when people does not have justice, you know how they just feel inside. Since the day Jaden get hit, my heart is in pain on today like today. Thank you.
Thank you, folks, for spending this time with us, and we really and truly hope that you folks get justice. Thank you very much. Yep, folks, and that was Siobhan Archibald, the mother of 7-year-old Jaden Shafoon, who succumbed in May from an accident he was in February, on February 13th of this year. You heard her articulate her experiences with the hospital. Left to care for him after he was discharged on his own. He never regained consciousness from the day he was hit down to the day he succumbed. She said he couldn't speak. They didn't know if he could see, if he could hear. And I decided, not to show the photographs. If you see this lovely, strong bundle of joy when he was 7 going to school there in Bobis, and what he was reduced to due to this accident, due to being bedridden and all of that. Folks, this is so sad. And no family should have to go through this. If only the justice system would work as it should. If only the healthcare system should work as it should. Don't get sick in this country, folks. Please don't get knocked down in this country. Don't guard your loved ones tenaciously. Hold them close and hold them dear, folks. Think twice about sending your children to the shop. We got some of the most deadliest, if I say it is the most deadly roadways in the world. Take it from me. I go through this information every single day. The accidents, the deaths, the mayhem, the carnage on our roads. Jaden Shafoon, from all accounts, was on the opposite side of the road and not the side that the cars were traversing. A car was overtaking. According to the mother, the granddad, and the pastor who they say saw this accident, overtaking, much like the young lady on the West Bank we were articulating here in another program. A car was overtaken and hit this young man, right, who had already crossed the road, and he's clearing the other lane now to the other side, and hit this young man there. And here is the account, here's the account. This country is someplace else. This country is somewhere else, folks. When they say Guyana is not a real place, you understand and you appreciate acutely when they say Guyana is not a real place, right? And a driver like that still on the road, The DPP office refused to charge, and the police is what it is. I don't know. Somewhere along the line, I feel it in my bones. There is some injustice. You know, I can't articulate it in a moment as clearly as I could, perhaps. But I don't think anywhere in the world a car that is supposed to be traversing one lane could hit a child in the other lane and life goes on. Nobody's charged. There's no compensation. Not even to do the most human and humane of things to say, I'm sorry, was done. You see the lethargy, the lethargicness with the police force, the hospital system in this country. People who from overseas always come and ask, how do you exist in this country? How you always make it with the healthcare system in this place? You know, and all of these billions that we're churning out every day, we pumping oil and pumping gas, pumping everything. It must come back in some meaningful way to benefit citizens. Everybody want a big house and big car and so on, but just decent health care. You know, decent health care. Decent health care. That's all you want. Some things you're dying from in this country, people are shocked. People are shocked. Some simple things you're dying from in this country, people are shocked. And all this family is asking for is justice. All this family is asking for is justice. That's all. What is justice? Nobody cares about you unless they get a little name recognition or something. And even so, can't eat your dinner in some cases. We articulated on this very story similar instances, you know, where it seems as though there's a miscarriage of justice. Where do you send these people? And there's so many stories like this we come into contact with on a daily basis. We don't have enough programs to share the content and the material. We're trying our best in this end, but we don't have enough programs. You think you could send these folks by NCN? You think you could send them by DPI? You think you could send them some of the other places by Chronicle? Here's a family still grieving. This wound is so fresh. Folks, guard your kids jealously in every regard. They said Jaden Chifoon goes to school, comes home, goes to the shop, comes back until this fateful morning, 13th day of February, 2022. And for months on end, he was bedridden, unconscious, never regained consciousness until he transitioned this life at the Fort Wellington Hospital in May. The family still grieving and still asking for justice. Folks, we encourage you, share the live so that other folks get valid, credible information. Smash that emoji button for us. It helps to drive up the algorithm and circulate the podcast in a lot of places on social media that it may not reach ordinarily. And do partner with us so that we can continue to bring you these stories. We can continue to bring you the information, credible, valid information. And we're going to take our leave from you, folks. At this time, we're going to see you guys right back here tomorrow. Another episode of our podcast, our international podcast, Below the Belt. Thanks for joining us, folks. And that's going to do it for us at this time. We're going to see you guys back in the ring this evening at 8. But for the podcast tomorrow, same time, same place. Thanks for joining us, guys. Stay safe out there. Do stay safe. Be vigilant. Guard your kids even more jealously after a story like this. And we pray that this family, Siobhan Archibald, gets justice. And Jaden Chifoon's grandfather, John Chifoon, we hope they get justice in the end for this young life lost so tragically. Jaden Chifoon, folks, gone at 7 years old. Stay safe. Stay safe, folks.
Talk about taking over, if I can go. We ain't giving up no mountains. We ain't giving up no tree. We ain't giving up no